Yo, what's good with y'all, man? Today is a good day. Today's a great day, actually. Um, I'm finally in a new fit compared to like all my boot camp videos. I was in the same jacket because I recorded all those videos in like the span of 2 days. So I was like glued to the computer for like 2 days straight. But that's besides the point. Today is trade and recap slash real estate recap. I just opened escrow on two properties, one in LA and the other one in Hollywood. So pause. Shout out to me. So that's pretty good news. Definitely gonna be putting this right back into the markets, long term and short term. So yeah, man, majority long term though. So yeah. I do want to talk about the trade and recap for the day and how I made $334 today. So let's get into it. All right. So starting from the top down, we can just look at overall bias is short. Wait, we're going all the way over here. Hold on. My overall bias was short just because of the whole thing with Trump and him talking about annihilating a civilization. Like, bro, come on now. You doing too much, bro. Like, miss me with that. Anyways, so I was bearish going into the day, and if we look on the 4 hour for, I'm not gonna lie, QQQ compared to like Nasdaq and the futures contract, how the price moves is it's a little wonky, but this looks bearish. All right, so if we go to the 1 hour, it kind of gives us a clearer picture. Like, all right, we inverse this gap. Oh, let's zoom in. Right? So we inverse this gap pre-market and we broke structure to the downside. So this right here, I was like, okay, this is overly bearish. Like this is bearish confirmation if you ever seen it. You feel what I'm saying? So right here, I'm like, okay, what I wanted to do is fill in this gap, boom. The new gap that was created by inversing the bullish for value gap, we created a bearish one. So now I'm like, okay, I like to see this. So what I did was scale down to the 15-minute and I was like, okay, where are their inefficiencies? So we have one right here. And literally going, I think the first candle open literally hit the midpoint of this gap and just dumped. So here, let's actually confirm that. Let's go over here. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, genuinely market open. We just midpoint tap the gap into that BPR. And honestly, that right there let me know that okay, these are protected highs right here. All right, this right here was our liquidity sweep for the day. You might be asking, why aren't you taking your trade off a liquidity sweep, break a structure for value gap? Like, I think I went over this. In one of the videos, I said that you can use a continuation confluence as a liquidity sweep, right? If it already happened pre-market. So pre-market, literally, hold on. This isn't actually a good example right now. Okay, pre-market, we already broke structure back to the downside and we inverse this gap on the hourly. So now what I'm doing is using this hourly fair value gap, right, as my liquidity sweep because I know that okay, there's a lack of orders in the opposite direction. So I know that if price reacts negatively or bearishly off of this gap, I'm going to enter shorts. Simple. All right, so that's a little quick explanation there. So going down to the 1 minute, I actually took this trade a little bit early too. I don't like taking trades before like 6:45. I think I took this. Yeah, I took this at 6:41. So, all right, so we get that initial move up. So now I know, okay, this high is somewhat protected and we're bearish on the higher time frame. So what I need to see is either an inverse for value gap or a break of structure either on the 5 minute or if we okay, this right here, once we broke to the upside, I wasn't gonna trade today had we been bullish. And that's also another part of not trading or even like not marrying your bias to the point where you're gonna take the wrong trade, because that's something where I fell into a trap a lot. Was I would marry my bias and I would just be, I know price is gonna be short. I know we're gonna be bearish, and it's just bullish. And I would just marry my bias and only be looking at this one perception when the market doesn't care what you think. Like, you just one small fish in a big pond, bro. It doesn't really matter like that. So that's besides the point. Anyways, once we had rebroke structure back to the downside, or really in this case inverse this bullish gap, this honestly was enough for me. I would rate this a B plus setup, in my opinion. This is a B plus. Um, yeah. So literally the next candle I entered and I took profit at these London lows right here. So this, well, kind of a little bit before, but yeah, man, this was the trade for the day. You could have took profits into this 4 hour fair value gap. I had that marked out. But again, I took this on the 1 minute, so I wasn't really comfortable holding for that long. Excuse me. But as you can see here, this gap gets tapped into, and then you can see overly bullish reaction off of that. So yeah, man, that was pretty much the trading recap for the day. We're actually gonna see what happens tonight, because Trump said he's. I think I said this in the beginning, but he's like, I'm going to annihilate an entire civilization. Allahu Akbar. Like, all right, bro. Like, yeah, man. So that's what it is. That's what it ain't. This is Trading Recap, April 7th, 2026. So with that being said, see y'all later, man.